Hey everyone, Effie here. Happy Thanksgiving. Today I'm going to make a card using our Fall Bouquet photopolymer set. It's a 4x6 clear stamp set. There's a nice large cluster image stamp that we're going to color in today, and then there are 3 sentiments in this stamp set. We're going to use the larger thankful sentiment for today's card. This set has coordinating dies, which we'll use later in the video. So let's get started. We're going to start off by stamping the cluster image with our Caviar Hybrid ink onto a white card panel, and you can see I used my 6x7 inch grip mat inside the Misty, and we're using Spectrum Noir's tri-blend markers. These are alcohol ink markers. That's why we used our Caviar Hybrid ink, because that ink is alcohol marker friendly. So I'm just going to speed up the video as we color in all of the panel today, and we're going to start with the greens. We're starting with the corn husk, and I'm using the green marker. What's great about these tri-blend markers is that you have all 3 shades of one color on one marker. It really takes the thinking process out of the crafting process, because you really don't have to think about it. If you have something that you want to color in with your green markers, just grab the one marker and all 3 shades, light, mid-tone, dark, are on the one pen. It's really convenient. I'm enjoying the process of using these markers. I got these on Amazon. Nancy Stamps from YouTube. She's wonderful. She's great. She actually recommended them. So when she said that Amazon was having a sale on them a few months ago, I had to get them. So they were sitting on my desk for a little bit. I used them in a previous card using our Harvest Pumpkin stamp set. I will link that in the description box below if you guys want to check out the coloring process for the Harvest Pumpkin card. But you also want to head over to Nancy Stamps YouTube channel, which I'll also link. You should also follow her. She's really great. She's a fountain of knowledge. So I always like to shout her out whenever I use anything that she recommends, because she really does know what she's talking about, and we love Nancy. All right, let's get back to coloring. I'm going to color in the apples, and I'm using my red marker, starting with the lightest red tone in this marker, and then I go in with the mid-tone red, and I start from the bottom of the apple and I work my way up with that mid-tone marker, up about maybe 3/4 of the way up, and then I go in with the darkest red marker along the lower portion of the apples, and this is just going to give it a little bit of that deep shading towards the bottom. Once I'm done blending with the first 3 shades, I actually go back in with the lightest red and I blend everything together so that we have a little bit more of a smooth transition. And then I blended the leaves of the apples with the green markers. And now I'm going to move on to the corn, and I'm using my light yellow blend markers, and I am going to use all 3 shades of yellow in this one marker. When you see other tutorials of people using alcohol ink markers, you always start with the lightest shade, then go in with your mid-tone, and then the darkest shade. So I'm just using the same process here, just going with the lightest shade, mid-tone, and then dark, and then when you're done after the dark marker shading, go in and blend everything together with the lightest shade. This is usually how I also blend. It's foolproof. I don't have any particular I guess expertise in the alcohol ink coloring marker field. I don't use alcohol ink markers that often. I just kind of use these intuitively. If you don't know how to use them, but you have them on hand, I encourage you to just grab them and just use them, and you may be surprised by the results. Just, if you're having trouble blending, just go back in with the lightest shade and blend everything out, and just have fun with it. Crafting should be stress-free and fun. You should enjoy the process. Don't be intimidated by coloring. Just do it. In the end, your work product will look decent, at least. And if you don't think it looks decent at the end of your crafting session, just step away from it for a few days and come back to it. And when you look at your project with new eyes, you may think that it looks better, because we are critical of ourselves. We are our own worst enemies sometimes. So Just step away from your project. If you're not loving it, come back to it. And then a week later, you might end up loving your piece. So enough with it. I hope you guys enjoyed that TED Talk. Usually when I'm coloring for this long of a period on my videos, I like to put some music on. So you guys are lucky today, or maybe unlucky, because now you get to listen to me ramble on about the philosophies of coloring and just not being too hard on yourself. So it's Thanksgiving. I am grateful for all of you guys watching this video today. So thank you for joining me today. And if it's past Thanksgiving Day, then I just thank you for watching this video at all. So we are almost at the tail end of our coloring. We went in with our purple marker for the grapes. And again, I used all three shades of purple, the light, mid-tone, dark. I went in with all three and then blended everything with the light purple once I finished with the darkest shade of purple. Then I colored in the leaves with the green marker, and again, used all three shades and then went in with the lightest green to blend everything together. At this point, we're almost done. I know I have the sunflower centers left, but I just went in with a little bit of a darker green shading for some of the greenery. Because at this point you just want to add, slight accents. Don't go in too heavy with the darkest green colors or any of the darkest shades. I just wanted to add a little bit more contrast in some of those areas to make those areas pop. So next I colored in the sunflower centers, added some stippling to add some texture, and I also blended the wheat with the same brown tones as the centers, and I just went in with the darker orange to give the sunflower center some more texture. So now my coloring is done. I stamped the thankful sentiment from the same stamp onto some white cardstock. And here are the coordinating dies for the set. I just placed them cut side down on my coloring and the sentiment. I cut everything out in my die cutting machine. Now for today's card, I used a piece of scrap that I had on my desk. It's a scalloped border edge that I had from my fall leaves card, which I'll also link in the description box below. So here is that scalloped edge. This was the leftover piece that I had from my die cut, and it was on my desk. I found that it went with the whole Thanksgiving color palette card for today because it's craft and it's an earthy tone, and when I think of Thanksgiving I think of oranges and browns and whatnot. So I glued the scalloped edge onto a piece of an A2 card panel, and then I added some ink blending on the bottom portion of the panel with some of our warm hazelnut and lemon drop dye ink. Then I placed that panel onto my 9x7 inch? Yep, or 7x9 inch grip mat. And then I blended the first layer of our sunray stencil onto that white card panel, and I used a combination of our lemon drop and peach blossom to add some of the sun rays because it's going to look really nice behind our fall bouquet set. Next, I glued the blended panel onto an A2 panel, and I popped up my fall bouquet cluster, and I also popped up the sentiment, and then lastly I added some orange rhinestones to finish up my card. Here is my finished project. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to our channel because I'll be updating it more regularly. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.